Hey, it's Phil Ratcliffe, and thanks for tuning in today to another one of our great live broadcasts. Today, we, as normal, are kind of changing it around. We have a little new setup in our we used to call it a conference room, but I guess now it's the Rebel Financial living room. We flip it around and we can do our live broadcast, make it a little bit more personable. So many of you maybe have gotten up this morning, scraping off the frost. Hopefully your week is ending well and warming up. It seems like it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Today we wanted to discuss with you something that's really important that a lot of our clients, well, I guess pretty much all of our clients, are going to go through at some point, and so will the rest of Americans, and that is Medicare and Medicare planning. And Medicare is a super important benefit that we all have when we turn age 65, and we've paid into it most of our working lives. And so, understanding, a little bit more about how it works and the importance that it plays in your financial security later in life is really important. And when we're building plans and helping our clients through this, even though it seems like a minor thing, and after you get enrollment, it really doesn't seem like a big thing. It's hugely important. I mean, look at everything that we've been going through the last decade with healthcare and the increasing costs and the problems that we're having. And you think about age 65 plus, and except for people hidden, if you've heard of like the donut hole, a lot of these people are not having those problems. And that's because our Medicare system is such a good, robust system to take care of us when we're going to use the most money in healthcare statistically. So using our benefits is very important. We've adopted a new technology called I-65, which really kind of walks our clients through, depending on their differing situations, exactly what to do, and also the options that are available to them, and even helping them figure out the third parties that they need to engage and how to engage them to elect their benefits as well for themselves as they can. So we're going to do a little kind of screen so you guys can see my screen, and I'm going to kind of walk you through. So this is a new partner, and again, some of these things they're not perfect, right? Because there's so many permutations that can happen. Basically, what it's going to do is help somebody get on the right track and tell them what to do. So, when we pay for this I-65, and then we let our clients use it, for a few months while they're doing their research and enrollment and so they can see it. But when we invite them into it, they log in like this. And first of all, there's a lot of resources here. This company's done a great job in terms of just putting everything together so people can click down through and just read these things or watch the movies, go through the questions and answers of about open enrollment. Once they take the roadmap, they can look at this plan finder and really just look up all the plans that are available to them, whether they want to do a Medicare Advantage plan or whether they want to do the traditional Medicare. So before I get into this, let me just real quick, just so we're all on the same page. So when you turn 65 and you're eligible for Medicare, or after you leave an employer if it's later than 65 in which you were on their coverage, then you're going to go into the Medicare system. And so Part A, for most of us that have worked more than 40 credits, is going to be totally free. You already paid for it from the payroll deduction. And then Part B, for most of us that don't make more than, like $300,000 per year, is going to be a set fee, depending on when you enrolled, somewhere between like $120 to $180 per month or what so. And then beyond that, most people will elect to buy what's called Medigap, or a Medicare supplement policy, which covers a lot of the extra in between. And that is traditional Medicare, okay? Medicare Advantage, some people will call it Medicare C, is where you get like an HMO, PPO through an insurance company in which Medicare gives the money that it was reserved for you through the traditional system, and then you're like on regular insurance that you would have had like through work or what so. And so for some people, this can be very advantageous. So instead of it costing maybe, $340 per month, theirs could be anywhere from $0 per month to a couple $100 per month. And if all the doctors and drugs that they need are in network and paid for, then that's a great deal. But again, if you travel around a lot of times you're better off with traditional. But again, because these things are complex, and there's even like a lot of different Medicare supplement policies that you can buy, and there's lots of different carriers on the Medicare Advantage. This is why we do this roadmap thing, because it can be complicated, but really with the right tools and information, it doesn't have to be, and it's like shopping for anything else to make sure that you get the best deal, okay? So like I said here, when we started walking through this, they've got a lot of great things in here in terms of just information that you would need to make an informed decision. But really, the main thing that we do here is, do this roadmap. And so you see here, you start with like the base of what your situation is. I'm turning 65 and I'm still working. I have coverage through work, or I don't have coverage through work. My spouse is still working and I have coverage through them. Or you could say, later on, I'm over 65, I'm losing my employer coverage, and go through that route. And then you pick one of those, say, right there, say somebody's turning 65, maybe they retired at 63 and now they're enrolling in Medicare for the first time. You say, yes, I'm receiving Social Security benefits. A lot of people these days are delaying their Social Security benefits either until their full retirement age, or even better, if you think you're going to live a long time, to age 70, and you would say, no, I'm not receiving my Social Security benefits. So let's say this person is, and they could say, boom, boom. So you click into there, and let's see. It says, will you spend time traveling to another location? And you could say yes or no. So I'm going to kind of skip this a little bit because I don't want to take forever walking through this, but it's going to ask you a bunch of questions that are very practical, very easy to answer when you're thinking about your life and your retirement. And then basically what it's going to do is it's going to produce this PDF roadmap, which is going to tell you, based on what you chose inside of here, what it recommends for you. And so it goes through all the things, kind of reiterating what you had answered the questions, and then it gives you step-by-step directions to say, enroll in Medicare Part A, start this process, download the checklist and follow it, enroll online here, and it gives you the links. You can just click on them. You'll get your Medicare card in the mail. And then in this instance, when I had gone through it, it had said that a Medicare Advantage plan might be good for us. And then it asked you a couple follow-up questions to see if you were really want to do that. And in that, we answered yes. And so now it's going over kind of the Medicare Advantage stuff in terms of how to enroll and shop for it, and going down through here. Okay, and so it's just step, boom, 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 boom. So again, we provide this for our clients that are silver and gold ongoing clients to our firm. Now, these are some of the links that were in there, and it's really cool. I mean, we could spend forever going through this, but I mean, this is just from Medicare.gov. I mean, you go there, find a plan, you put in your zip code, and it will. And you can do a personalized search if you already have your Medicare card and number. But then you can go through and actually shop them. I mean, I still have a couple agents that I refer clients to that want help, that I kind of trust to help guide our clients through it. But still, even for somebody that wants like an agent or someone to help them shop, just to have a base knowledge, in like a 5-minute search to look at the plans and the costs and the differentials, then you're an informed consumer in terms of what's available out there. Again, this is when we were over here looking through, the documents that are available. They have a great PDF right here that's choosing a Medigap insurance agent. So if you don't have an advisor like us, and you're kind of DIYing it, but you want some help, how do you find a good insurance person? What's their conflict of interest? What are the ones that are really educated and know what they're talking about versus the ones that are just trying to sell things? And then this goes into understanding the difference between the Medigap policies. And I think they have like 4 or 5 different ones because different states have a little bit different rules. So you just look at the state that you want to look at, and then you can go down here and you can go through it and see And if you enroll at the right times, so this is important, if you enroll at the right times, the Medigap or the supplement policies are guaranteed issue, which means they can't discriminate if you've got something medically wrong with you or charge you any more than they would someone that is totally healthy. So especially if you have any kind of medical issue, you want to make sure you do not miss these periods, or you could be locked out. You may not be able to get one. And then, this can be confusing, all the different plans, A, B, C, D, F, G, etc. But this is a really cool chart that just really shows you what each one pays for. I think the most popular is the Plan F. I've heard somebody saying that the Plan F is going away because it pays too much, but the Plan G is it's almost identical. So paying most of the things right there. So it's another great option as well too. So that gives you a little highlight of some of the tools that we're using to help our clients with Medicare. And just thinking about how expensive healthcare can be during our aging years, it is really important that we preserve this system and appreciate it because it is really, really good. When I have most of our clients that are on Medicare, they are almost all very, very happy with Medicare and how it takes care of things and how they don't have a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. And when we are doing financial planning and we look at how much it's going to cost to retire and what we need Social Security and our pensions and our accounts to be able to produce for us to have a secure retirement without a good health insurance benefit like Medicare, with the rising costs of healthcare, for most people in this country, retirement would be unaffordable. And so beyond that, making sure that you take advantage of these benefits correctly at the right times, because it is a bureaucracy. I mean, you're dealing with the government. We got to use them correctly. Is the difference possibly between tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially like on that guaranteed issue side of things. So I hope this helps. Post below on the social media, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, if you have questions. We love discussions. We think that a lot of the software stuff that's coming around, a lot of it's entrepreneurial. I mean, the person that started this company, just to think, there is a big knowledge gap, and people want something from a trusted partner or to be able to go to it and kind of DIY it, even if they're ultimately going to go buy through someone else. So, this is great for our economy. So, anyways, let us know if you have questions. That's where we're going to kind of end the Medicare discussion. Lastly, we wanted to just take a few minutes to kind of review the tax reform that's going through and our perspective of kind of educating you from our stance of being we're a middle-class financial planning firm. And so we really want what's good for the vast majority of Americans. We're not like most financial planning firms. It's really like upper-class, super wealthy people. Most of our clients are really solidly middle class. And so, just going through and looking at this, the thing that really is, unfortunate in our eyes is the deficit and the debt that it puts to the future. And for regular middle class people without much cost tax savings out of this, that's really bad, because a lot of us are going to depend on our kids being able to go to public schools, on the infrastructure and research and development, and the prosperity of our country, and even the government in the future. And to really push forward, kicking the can down the road, so that generally more wealthy people that are making, over $1.6 million per year or have, net worths above $5 million, which is almost none of our clients, and almost like a very small minority of Americans, it's really irresponsible. So we're just going to kind of go through this piece by piece real fast. So when we look at a lot of, hold on, let me click into the actual article here. This is from a journalist that we really like and respect. He's probably one of the best financial planning journalists out there. His name is Michael Kitces. If you want to check this article out, Tony, who's posting right now, We'll post a link below so that you guys can click and read through as well too. But it does talk about like the deficit that's going to be in here. It talks about a lot of the good things, the simplification of the tax code, dropping down the brackets, getting rid of the AMT. I think almost everybody can agree. AMT stands for Alternative Minimum Tax. But again, having that big of a deficit and then just saying magically that trickle down is going to make the economy give us that back in growth, it's not going to happen. I mean, if you give a bunch of wealthy people tax credits that aren't really business owners, they're just going to invest it, which might be good for us financial planners, but it's probably not good for our economy. So yeah, getting rid of the alternative minimum tax. This is a bad thing investment-wise, but again, it is still a little bit progressive. The way that we take our gains out of investment accounts right now, we can choose when we bought and sold it and sell the things if we needed to rebalance or take money out that we put in last that haven't grown as much, and so we don't have to pay as much tax, and we can kick the things that have grown more out into the future. The new tax legislation would make you take the oldest stuff out first, which would make people with investment gains pay taxes faster, which, that's not necessarily that bad. Let's keep going down through here. They're increasing just a teeny tiny bit, the child tax credit, which would probably be good for middle class. It's not bad at all. Itemized deductions are going down. So I would say for most people, since they will double the standard deduction, that again will probably make it nicer for most people, because then they won't have to take the time and to list their deduction. So it will make tax preparation a lot simpler. This is probably a very bad regressive thing. I mean, they're getting rid of medical expense deduction. So again, it's a small minority of Americans that ever use this, but it's generally people that are in great need. So if you go over 10% of your adjusted gross income, you can deduct your medical expenses, and that would go away. And to me, there's no point to do that to those people that are having a hard time in their life at that point. If you're an employee that doesn't get reimbursed for expenses, no deductions on that anymore, which is not great. The electric motor vehicle credit would go away, and I'm getting a Tesla Model 3. So all you people that want to buy an electric vehicle or are in line for a Model 3, if you don't get it before the end of the year, then tough luck. They're going to repeal the adoption tax credit, which was the largest credit, and it was a really good credit, which is bad. Mortgage interest deductions limited to $500,000. So unless you live in a really expensive area or you're really high income, it's not a big deal, in my opinion. Charitable deductions, that's a little bit of improvement net, so that's not bad. They're limiting people to 2 of 5 years for capital gains exclusion on your primary residence. It's going to be like, I think 5 of 8. So you have to live in it for 5 years, and you can only do it once every 5 years as well too, which is probably not bad. I mean, people that are flipping houses and calling it their primary residence, in my opinion, that's not what the capital gains exclusion is for anyway. So we're taking that away. To me, this is a big thing. Elimination of various employee fringe benefits. These are benefits that regular people use that wealthier people don't use. So they're getting taxes to go away, and then they're taking away benefit programs for regular people. Dependent care assistance programs, to where you can put money in an account tax-free and then take it out to help pay for child care. Qualified moving expenses when you got to relocate for a job. Adoption assistance. So the adoption tax credit will go away, plus they're not going to allow your employer to take a deduction to help employees with adoption. Employer-provided child care is repealed. Employer-provided educational assistance is repealed. Qualified tuition reductions is reported as taxable income to employees now, so people that are trying to better themselves. Employer-provided housing exclusions goes down more than half. Meals and expenses, I don't think that's a total big thing. But it only is for meals and drinks now, not for entertainment or what so. So there's a few other things in there, but to me that's pretty regressive. They're getting rid of the Coverdale, which kind of it was a small thing, but you could use that for primary education, like if you wanted to use like K through 12 rather than just saving for college for your kid. So especially people that wanted a tax preference way to be able to save, say you wanted your kid to go to Catholic school or what so, that goes away. Student loan interest deduction is repealed. Savings bond interest, when you use the savings bonds to help pay for family members' college, is repealed. So again, things that would help regular people are going away. And then there is, I guess you could see this as good, but preferential tax rates, 25% for business income pass-through entities. So that'd be like LLCs and S-corps. But you really got to be making a lot of money, upwards of, 300,000 to 400,000 or more as a small business personally for it to benefit from you. So I would say most small businesses, mom and pops, is not going to benefit that much. As well. Now, there's a few other things in here that are more complicated. I'm not going to get into that because we want to keep the time down to good. This is the big thing, and that's estate tax exemption increased and will repeal. This is super regressive. It's anti-capitalistic because capitalism was designed to in an imperfect world with limited resources to say that the people that are most talented could accumulate, and they would probably, hopefully, on average, be a better allocator of capital. And what we've found is that second, third, fourth, fifth generations of wealth aren't near as talented as the people that accumulated the wealth. And so if we don't tax that money as it passes from hand to hand, then like where we are now, to where we're getting these huge accumulations of wealth and very small percentage of the population that probably aren't even very talented in the first place, which is what capitalism was made for. An estate tax is very progressive just from a capitalistic perspective of putting the money back out there so that the new talented people can earn and do, and so that we have things. And then another thing that people don't understand is generally if you don't have an estate tax, then you're not going to get a step up of cost basis when someone dies. And so what does that mean? A lot of you may have experienced this. Say you inherited a house from your mom or dad or what so when they passed away, and they bought that house for $30,000 in 1950, and when you inherited it, it was worth $450,000. So when you inherited, though, your cost basis stepped up from $30,000 to $450,000. So if you sold it for $460,000, you only had to pay capital gains on 10%. But no estate tax, no step up in cost basis. So you would have inherited that house, sold it, and you would have to pay capital gains on $430,000. So this is actually a significant tax increase, to lower and upper middle class Americans, because you were very much benefiting from that in the past. And this is where a lot of that deficit will come from in the future. So we're very much against this because we believe in the middle class. We believe in people having the opportunity and the American dream, and having some of that money come back into the system, whether it's like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, to where they give it to charities and try to help education and healthcare and what so, or it goes back through the government to make maybe free college education one day or something like that, to where people will have opportunities to make themselves better and do something better with their lives. So we're not against tax reform. Obviously, there's a lot of good things in here like we talked about. But the way that it is now, to give wealthy people a break at the expense of everyone else is horrible in our opinions. And I think people in Congress should be ashamed of themselves to be putting themselves and special interests and wealthy people's interests above the rest of ours. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. We wanted to put a little information out here. Check out what Michael Kitces says. You can keep up with him. I think there's just as many regular people out there reading his articles as there are financial planners and tax professionals, etc. He does a great job. Thank you guys, as always, for supporting us. We hope this broadcast helped you either to make a little bit better decisions on your health care as you transition into retirement, or understanding some of the tax changes a little bit from a nonpartisan perspective, just from the facts that are in there. Have a great weekend, and Merry December. We'll see you next week.